because the CDC now saying fully vaccinated individuals should wear masks inside in certain areas of the country where there is substantial or higher levels of virus transmission. The CDC director is saying that studies suggest vaccinated people may be able to transmit the virus. However, she also stressed the vast majority of cases and transmission are occurring in those who are unvaccinated. As for the fall, the CDC now saying that all students, teachers, and staff should also wear a mask at school. This is regardless of their vaccination status. Meantime, President Biden says his administration considering a COVID-19 vaccine mandate for all federal employees. His comments coming after the Department of Veterans Affairs required it and says it's going to be requiring its medical personnel to be fully vaccinated. And joining us right now to talk about all of it is Dr. Scott Gottlieb, former FDA commissioner, a CNBC contributor. He also serves on the boards of Pfizer and Illumina. And Doctor, it feels like over the past 24, 48, 72 hours, things have shifted. At least our understanding has shifted. And the thing that struck me the most was the comment from the CDC director effectively suggesting that they believe that if there is a breakthrough infection in somebody who is vaccinated, that they have as much of the virus in them and the ability to shed it and therefore share it with others as somebody who's unvaccinated.
Well, look, I don't think things have shifted. I think they've gotten more confusing for the average consumer because of the shifting advice from CDC. The bottom line is, and we've said it on this show many times, the vaccine doesn't make you impervious to infection. There are some people who are developing mild and asymptomatic infections even after vaccination. And if you live in a high prevalence area, the advice I've been giving people is that if you're taking care of young children or other people who might be vulnerable, you should be mindful that even if you're vaccinated, if you're in contact with the virus, there is a risk that you can contract the virus. And with a much more transmissible strain like Delta, where you develop high viral levels early in the course of the infection, there's probably also a risk that you could transmit the virus. So people just need to be mindful of that if they're in contact with someone who can be vulnerable. Whether or not that should then translate into general guidance for the entire population that if you're vaccinated, you should wear a mask, I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that we're going to get enough bang for our buck by telling vaccinated people they have to wear masks at all times to make it worth our while. I think we're further into this Delta wave than we're picking up. I've been saying that for weeks. I think, in another 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be through this. This new guidance will have a negligible impact on that. I think much more prudent guidance to people would be that if you're vaccinated, you're in a high prevalence area, you're in contact with the virus, you think you might have the virus because you have mild symptoms of it, be prudent, get tested, maybe wear a mask, especially if you're around a vulnerable person. That should be the bottom line guidance we give. Right. CDC, I think, is having challenge measuring this right now.
Doctor, you made a comment a couple days ago on this show about masks themselves and actually how protective they can be, given just how virulent this strain of the virus appears to be. If we all go back to masking, let's just talk about what that even means. Are we supposed to be wearing? Can we wear the old cotton mask? Does the medical grade mask work? Are we talking about a K95? Are we talking about an N95?
Well, look, the physical properties of the virus, as best we know, haven't changed. The reason why this Delta strain is more transmissible is because there's just more of it. You develop more virus early in the course of your infection. You develop high viral titers very quickly. So that means if you want to derive protection, if you as an individual want to protect yourself from this virus, mask quality does matter, and wearing a higher quality N95 or KN95 mask is going to afford you more protection. In the setting of a more transmissible strain, you need to be more mindful of the quality of the mask that you're wearing. If all you're doing is wearing a cloth mask or a procedure mask, you're going to cut down on the propensity of you to spread the virus to others. So you'll reduce the odds that you could spread the virus to others if you're one of those people who has a mild or asymptomatic infection and doesn't know you're infected. But if you actually want to derive protection from other people being infected around you, mask quality does matter. So people should look for higher quality masks. And there's ample supply right now. In the beginning of this epidemic, we didn't have enough N95 masks. Now we do. People can go out and get them, especially if they're more vulnerable.
Hey, Doctor, I'd be happy you're not at the FDA anymore, because I'm actually, when you lose the journal op-ed pages, you've lost everyone. And there's a scathing article about that this hasn't been approved yet, fully approved by the FDA. The journal points out there's more data right now, more safety data about these vaccines than almost any previous vaccine that had received full approval. They did an expedited for Pfizer. They haven't even done that for Moderna yet. So it could be it could be 10 months, but maybe it's down to 6. So I understand that the FDA in normal circumstances shouldn't succumb to pressure. But in this case, it's just bureaucracy. It's once again bureaucracy. The Journal ends saying, if the government believes the vaccination is as urgent as it claims, it ought to behave like it with its own procedures. How many more people would have it right now if it was full approval? And here we are going into what might be I don't know what wave it is, but a Delta wave, getting masks again, and it's not fully approved. You were there. Do you talk to people? It's inexcusable.
Well, look, I think the bottom line is the FDA has not had these applications that long. I think Pfizer submitted their application end of May. Moderna submitted their application some point in June. So they've only had them about 3 months, and the companies have been submitting more information into those applications as they've been going along. So Pfizer only fully submitted the application complete probably about 3 weeks ago. They were submitting supplements to that application. A lot of the review right now is on what we call the CMC portion of the review, looking at the stability, how the vaccine could be stored in a normal supply chain once it gets fully approved, because it's going to sit in doctors' offices and pharmacies. So you have to put a lot of information and labeling on how to store it properly and how long it can be stored. I would suspect these applications are going to be approved very soon. It hasn't been that long. I mean, in fairness to the agency, they have not had these applications very long.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.